I will go get you the soul crossbow." At this moment Mu Zioxi also woke up. Hearing voices, she decided to go out and take a look. When she opened the door and looked outside, what she saw before her was truly astonishing. Looking at the people outside the house, it was her Nan. How could she be at Grandma's house? Then slowly closed the door. This is her Nanan road. What's going on? Didn't Grandma say to take her out? Didn't kill him. She has come for revenge. Where is Grandma? No one is around. Now I can only rely on myself. Rather than waiting for her to come, it's better to act first. Striking her by surprise might yield some chances of victory. Muzayaxi invites the four immortals of Chu Longling. Please let the flower spirit be an object. Give me a hand. At that moment, Muzayaxi had already deepened her connection with the spiritual entity. I only heard her say that I would open the door and hit her hard. Chang Xian. The soul whip on one side must unleash its full power. Hearing this, the white deity on Muzayaxi's shoulder spoke. Wait a moment, for safety's sake. First, I'll use my blood-refining heart piercer to immobilize her acupoints. Then let Chang Sanji hit her again. Ensure everything is foolproof. Hearing the soul stamping whip transformed by the great immortal said, "Good idea. Let's do it this way. I will unleash the greatest power to draw you in." Yu saw Muzayo's eye slowly open the door. The moment the door opened, Sandeng Lianzu used the heart-piercing needle to stab towards the person outside the living room. At that moment, the 3 blood diamond needles were firmly inserted into this person's acupoints. After seeing this success, Mu Zioxi pushed open the door and said, "Dead eunuch, take it on." Suddenly, Chang Ling swung the soul whip toward that person. Suddenly, there was a loud bang. The head of this person was struck off by Chang Ling's soul whip. Seeing the situation, Mu Zioxi slowly walked towards that person. She found it difficult to approach this person. This guy should be considered a master in the underground palace. Is it really that easy to be taken down? No wonder. Eventiders have their moments of dozing off. But I still can't understand. Grandma clearly said she had already taken care of him. Even the soul crossbow has been retrieved. Why are you here again? At that moment, the person whose head was severed spoke. I said, Muzayoxi, you, at such a young age, the strike was so forceful. What will happen when they grow up? The 4 immortals you have on you are quite fierce. You see, you ruined my perfectly good outfit in an instant. Even the hair got blown away. If you want to connect this, it must have long passed. Hearing this, Muzayoxi found it difficult to speak. Oh my! How could they still be alive after all this? All right. Now, there's no other way but to work hard. Split your head in half. I won't let you die. But at that moment, he was stopped by his grandmother behind him. This little girl is afraid of doing poorly on the exam. They actually sought help from a weasel to steal the final exam papers, and wished to give them a chicken farm. Unexpectedly, after the breach of contract, old Master Qing came with his disciples to demand payment. Just as Muzayoxi looked at her grandmother with a smile. Is that really you, Grandma? This child of yours. Even Grandma doesn't believe it anymore. Sorry, I really don't quite believe you. What do you have to prove yourself? Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Veve, it seems my granddaughter has matured and is not easily fooled anymore. All right, I'll prove it to you. You were afraid of not doing well on exams in elementary school. I secretly sought help from an outside fortune teller to steal the final exam paper for you. The Huangdaxian won't agree. You just told someone to wish for a chicken farm for the Huang family. As a result, you scored full marks every time. Where would a chicken farm come from for the Qing family? Old Master Qing brought his disciples to demand payment. There's no way to do half of it. After much discussion, I ended up buying 100 chickens to settle the matter. He will teach you a lesson afterward. Chase you until you run everywhere. You ran to Grandma's place just to avoid a beating. This matter is only known to our family. How are you? Now do you believe me? I believe. But I had no intention of defaulting at that time. I planned to earn money when I grow up to buy a chicken farm. Who knew Hugh and Ziner was so impulsive? Let's not talk about this anymore. Grandma, can you tell me? Why is this indestructible eunuch in your house? Didn't you say you would eliminate him? Hearing this little play, his grandmother said, I originally thought I wouldn't tell you about this. Who knows you are still awake in the middle of the night? I killed that eunuch, but later I thought he was still useful. So he invited the soul of the elder to inhabit his body. Father, let's go meet your great-great-granddaughter. Sai ah. This is Grandma's mother. That is your father's grandmother's soul. Hearing this, Zai said, Oh my goodness! How should I address him in this generation? Silly child, I am your father's grandmother. That would be your great-grandmother. You should call me Tai Lao Lao. It turns out to be great-grandma. Grandma always tells me about your heroic deeds. I apologize for any offense I may have caused earlier. Great-grandmother, I bow to you on your birthday. Hehe. Good kids really understand. At such a young age, able to wield such spiritual power. The future is limitless. Quickly let those immortals on you withdraw. The entire grassland is cultivated. Even the cold and damp are hot. It's quite hot. Actually, I've been holding on all this time. Hehe. Really rare to come by. During this time, Grandma Muzioxi told him, his great-grandmother wants to use the body of a eunuch. The matter of infiltrating the underground palace. Hearing this, he was also taken aback. At that moment, his grandmother said, knowing oneself and knowing others ensures victory in every battle. You were previously played around in circles by someone. It's just because the news isn't accurate. How can you still say that? I've never seen anyone like you. Let my mother come out to pretend to be a eunuch. My daughter, can the capable work more? You also don't want to see it. No one should bully our descendants. I truly admired Grandma. Sure enough, the old ones are still the best. I never thought of that. I thought someone was impersonating Grandma, pretending to be me. Be careful, remember that. No one who dares to impersonate your grandmother has been born yet. During this time, the group had another conversation. Night on the back mountain of Chulong Ridge. A figure stood at the foot of the mountain, murmuring, So there is an entrance here, too. It seems that the King Court had plans for this underground palace back in the day. You've really put in a lot of effort. Eerie energy fills the air. One cannot let their guard down. You can feel it from the entrance. The powerful evil energy below. As he walked down, several attendants appeared. The attendants exchanged some polite words. He was soon invited into the palace. As they walked along the path in the underground palace, at that moment a voice was heard. Stop. Quick, take a look. Who is back? Truly worthy of being our deputy chief of the Imperial Guard. They had their heads chopped off, and still come back to life. Hearing this, he murmured to himself, This pig-headed eunuch is so strange and quirky. Did he notice any flaws? This prince. They actually wanted to eliminate the grand priest of the Qing dynasty, Zitala Kingu. Yet he did not know. Zitala Kingu did all of this. It's all for him. Just now, the Grand Steward. Looking at Liu Gonggong, he said, Liu Gonggong, my scout saw it with his own eyes. Your phone was taken by someone. Received the news. I immediately sent someone to the scene. The corpse disappears without a trace. Now you have returned unscathed. Should we give it to our family? A reasonable explanation. I said the Grand Steward. I entered the palace not much later than you. What do you mean by that? You travel thousands of miles each day. Everyone forgot. I often practice the art of slipping away, taking a break only to be killed. Is there anything strange? Chief Steward, I still need to report back to the high priest. I'll take my leave now. Just as he was about to turn and leave, the chief steward called him to a stop. Deputy manager, I'll remind you of something. It's cold inside the underground palace. Must be 5 words and 10 points. Especially the neck. Thank you, Chief Steward, for the reminder. A few people were seen walking on the path. Several attendants are present, always flattering Liu Gongbong. They also said the chief steward is as fat as a pig. At that moment, Liu Gongbong appeared, has approached the crown prince and the high priest, the palace where they are located, glancing sideways. The attendants behind him whispered to themselves, "These eunuchs! It's truly impossible to change someone who eats shit. The Qing dynasty is no more, still scheming and plotting here. But this Liu Gongbong, it seems like things are going well. That Grand Steward, they must have figured out that I'm a fake. Not sure why I didn't confront it. It seems I have to eliminate him first." During this time, he walked into the hall. At this moment in the palace, a voice from one person was heard. "Zio Liuzi, you're not dead. Your grand undertaking has not yet succeeded. How could a servant dare to die easily?" They said they wanted to kill the servant. It's not that easy either. Hearing the high priest say this. Also, "You little monkey will be shocked and lose control. How could one be killed so easily? Unless it's you. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that." Suddenly, they heard Liu Gonggong say, "Thank you for the compliment, my lord. All rely on your great fortune. All right, stop talking back. I ask you, what is the Mu family's attitude? Determined to be an enemy of the great king. Is that so? Return to the master. The Mu family actually didn't want to. Against us, they are all under the Grand Steward's command. Repeatedly provoking. You've caused so much trouble. If we stop provoking them, it won't be a big deal. After all, the crown prince is about to ascend the throne. It's better to avoid trouble than to create it. What you say is very true. The most important thing right now is to successfully ascend to the throne. The festival of impermanence. I ask you, Mu Zio, the Mu family didn't suffer any casualties, right? Return to the prince. The Mu family is quite capable. The synthetic army was completely defeated by the enemy. Unscathed. That's good. Convey my command. Let bygones be bygones. Pardon all the crimes of the Mu family. Starting from today, no one is allowed to harass the Mu family. Sunshine, Zio Liuzi, you can go down first. I have something to say to His Highness the Crown Prince." Then the servant takes his leave. After Liu Gongbong left, the high priest's voice echoed through the palace. Zai Tala's voice was clear and melodious. "His Highness the Crown Prince, who gave you such an order? The Mu family has repeatedly been enemies with the great king. How can one attain forgiveness? Huh? As the Crown Prince, don't you even have this little power? You are just a royal sorcerer. How dare you interfere in the affairs of the state? Reckless. The Empress Dowager entrusted the palace and you to me. I have the right to restrain your actions. If you don't amount to anything, I can also act like the Empress Dowager. Grant me my ultimate power." Hearing this, the Crown Prince asked again, "What power?" At this moment Zatara Kingu said, "It does seem necessary. Let the Crown Prince know. If you find it hard to take on great responsibilities, I can take away your power, Ling Lai Xin Jun, descendants of Azin Jioro. You're not the only one. Your Highness, old Buddha has always been clear about it. The martial artists opposing the underground palace must be killed without exception. So the Mu family must be exterminated. The day of the coronation is just a few days away. Where to go from here? I hope your Highness will think it over." At the banquet, a male voice echoed in the palace, repeating the words of the Crown Prince. Jade bracelet and dragon robe have both faded, longing day and night for the traitor's return. Is there a way to have it both ways? The younger brother waits for the golden hairpin as part of the performance. Waiting for the hairpin. Golden hairpin. Not good, not good. The emperor is a dragon. You should stay with Feng Chai. Waiting for the phoenix hairpin for the small play. What should I do? Why did the Empress Dowager give King Le such hard labor? Is there going to be another one ruling behind the curtain? Do I want to become the second Zacian? No. The reason my great king has fallen to such a disarray, it's because women are in power. I don't want to be the next puppet. Absolutely not. I must reclaim the royal power of the Azin Jioro. Zatara Kingu, I must emerge. Empress Dowager, did you hear it? For the great king, I made myself unkind and deceitful. What is it all for? What should I do? The great priest Zatala from the Qing dynasty can actually summon the spirit of Empress Dowager Cixi. Little did anyone know that Cixi was unconcerned about today's underground palace affairs. The high priest had no choice but to call himself the regent empress. But unaware of what it is, just now the sound of Zatala's clear music came from the underground palace. Blessed by divine grace since childhood, into the deep palace, refining the soul, guarding the pulse for the nation, a century of confinement has finally flown away. The full moon will shine tomorrow. The Crown Prince and I have been separated. Only please summon the Holy Soul. In life, the possessions closely tied to one's soul are boundless. Lift the royal bone with your left hand. The right hand raised the jade thorn whip. Da King Royal Shaman Kissi Zatala Kingu. Request an audience. Zio Jing Cixi Duan Yu Kang Yiao Yu. Disguised as Empress Zion of the Longevity Palace, she is the holy sage matched with Tianxin. Empress Dowager, please reveal yourself. Rain falls. At that moment, the candles on both sides of the aisle lit up. Suddenly, a voice spoke up. I never expected this many years later. Surprisingly, there are still people who remember the title of the AI family so clearly. Who summoned me? Servant Zatala respectfully greets Her Majesty, the Empress Dowager. We humbly invite the Holy Spirit of the Empress Dowager to bless us with peace and prosperity. It's you, King Yu. You summoned me, I presume, for the matter of the secret underground palace. The Empress Dowager is wise. I dare to serve you in this life at a great cost. Indeed, it is for this matter. The bright moon is approaching. Some matters I dare not decide. I humbly request the Empress to make a decision. King Yu, didn't the royal family entrust the power of the underground palace to you? Everything is up to you to decide. Empress Dowager, this matter is of great importance, and I am foolish. I really don't know what to do. Thus I boldly disturb your peace. I humbly request the Empress Dowager's guidance. He, A century of change. The world has long since changed. I never expected so many years have passed. There are still those loyal to the grieving family. All right, then. What is it that troubles you enough to seek my counsel? Thank you, Empress Dowager. Empress Dowager Rongbing. Since the Crown Prince awakened, all day long, lost in the romance of love and unconcerned with greater matters, even for the rebellious woman, for you, the servant has developed murderous intent. This Fu duo is just as despicable as Zai Tian. King, one must not be soft-hearted when dealing with a femme fatale. So, Your Majesty, do you mean that? Do you still remember how I dealt with Zhen Fei back in the day? Since the recovery was unsuccessful, where will the underground palace go? It's all up to you now. King, let go and do it. The AI family has ruled half of the Qing dynasty for a century, leaving behind endless disgrace. Only you still regard me as your sovereign to this day. I am very touched. I didn't expect that you would really do this for me. I have persisted until now. I will now completely entrust the power of the underground palace to you. You have the right to decide everything in the underground palace. As for the love's heart being snatched away, now that the Qing dynasty is gone, do as you see fit. Empress Dowager, you can't do this. The Qing dynasty still exists. Are you still there? Sorrow. I also wish the Qing dynasty were still around. The sorrow of the family only belongs to the great Qing era. I can't manage today's matters anymore. King, take care of yourself. Empress Dowager, it was your intention back then. Let's build the underground palace. In the future, we will support the Qing dynasty. Now you say the Qing dynasty is gone. What have I been doing for the past 100 years? Why have I become so unfeeling and mysterious? Empress Dowager, do you mean that the era of the Empress Dowager has passed? You don't care anymore, do you? Good. I manage. As long as I am in the Great Qing, I will exist. You handed over the Qing dynasty to me, didn't you? Okay. From now on, there will be no more high priests in the underground palace. A voice of decree echoed from within the underground palace. Zio King, Cixi, Duan Yu, Kang Yi, Zhao Yu, Zhu, and Cheng, Shu Gong. Qing County Changxi Peixinx and Holy Virtuous Empress discussion purpose. The Chu army's love and determination to reclaim the lost stronghold must be united, for the sake of the fate of our great king, enthroning the high priestess Sitala Qingyu as the Empress Dowager of the Great King, sitting in the Qingyu Palace. The right to die for justice. Sitala Qingyu, please share your thoughts. To this point, her name is rightful, became the actual ruler of the underground palace. After rising to power, she immediately issued 2 decrees. First dish, the day the bright moon rose, the Chu army's deep affection for Aizin Zhu Yuo hints at a revival of the Qing dynasty's imperial throne. Empress Dowager Zatara Qingyu listens to state affairs behind the curtain. Appropriate correction. It's a bit like the emperor's demeanor. Second dish, Demoness Mu Zioxi, charming prince, causing the Chu army to lose focus. His family repeatedly rebelled against and opposed the Qing dynasty. Special envoy Wu Yizhu was sent to Jingjiao. Wu Yizhu is appointed as the general of Pingxi. Bestow the great King tighter tally. These 2 ghosts from the underworld. I never expected it to be this old lady from the Mu family in front of me. Please come to deal with Yang Lazy, one of the notorious figures from northeast Heishui, just now in the old house of Mu Zioxi's grandmother. Mu Zioxi's grandmother has already prepared the meals and asked her to have a meal. Hearing grandma's words, Mu Zioxi said, "Okay, here it comes." Lo, chicken stew with mushrooms. It's really delicious." She asked while eating, "Grandma, I have caught up on most of my homework. Shouldn't it be time to continue the training?" Her grandmother told her that cultivation is definitely necessary. "But you first remove continue." Hearing the sound of the wood, Muzioxi asked in confusion, Grandma means, "You, I can hardly be considered a practitioner now. At most, he's just a medium." Hearing this, Muzioxi murmured, "Is it just a medium? Then is it not yet?" At that moment, her grandmother said, "I know. You have several experiences in real combat. I've seen my fair share of scenes. But Zio Zai, have you ever thought about it? Your experiences are all passive, including Kingling. Completely lacks a formalized approach. Didn't suffer a big loss. It's mostly about luck." Grandma's bouquet. Muzioxi seems to have gained some understanding. During the meal, Muzioxi's grandmother said to her, "Your training must begin in advance. Elders can't protect you for a lifetime." Hearing this, Muzioxi asked, "Grandma, when do I start?" "Don't you have a week until your final exams? These days focus on studying well for the exam. Just in time for the holiday, let's officially begin. Then Grandma will personally teach you. Your current task is rest well and rejuvenate. Prepare to embrace true cultivation." Xiaozai fell asleep during the meal. "This is a white ring with a yellow circle. I want to open the doorknob. Unfortunately, it cannot be opened." And in the room, Mu Xiaozai, at this moment soundly asleep. When this white silk wanted to open the door again, at that moment the voice of Mu Xiaoxi's grandmother could be heard. "Don't bother. I set up a barrier in my granddaughter's room. You don't have the skill to enter here. You've been here for half a day too. If there's something, let's discuss it face to face." At that moment, the creature slowly revealed itself. Mu Xiaoxi's grandmother calmly brought her out. At this moment, she said, "I didn't expect Mu Xiaoxi to be beside me. I can't believe there is such a master protecting us. It seems that your Highness's worries are unnecessary now." "Your Highness, so you are from the underground sect, right?" HMPH. "That's not quite accurate. Your Highness can only temporarily represent your Highness, not the underground palace." Hehe. "Indeed, the Crown Prince truly cannot represent the underground palace. So, this prince, who has lost great power. What guidance do you seek?" "Ouch! I didn't expect you, old lady, to be so well informed about the underground palace. Is there a spy planted inside? You don't need to worry about that. Quickly state your intentions. What does that prince want to do?" "All right. Anyway, I'm too lazy to talk to you any longer. Let's draw the bow and shoot straight. Our Lord fell in love with Mu Xiaoxi at first sight. Now I think of you day and night. What does it mean to send me? I want—" Just as he hadn't finished speaking, it was suddenly overwhelmed by the accumulation of dark spirits. At that moment his body split in half. Then he spoke up. "Hello. I said, how could you be like this, old lady? I hadn't finished speaking, so why did you start?" And they acted so ruthlessly, unexpectedly releasing a shadowy spirit. "Thanks to my quick reaction, you almost got me killed. How can you treat His Highness's envoy like this?" HMPH. "There are many words from a worm that knows nothing of depth. Save your nonsense for the underworld. It's a shame to have wasted your kindness, your Highness, since you're being so unreasonable. Then don't blame me for being rude. Don't think that you can rely on the power of the Mingji spirit. You can flaunt your power. When it comes to action, You may not gain an advantage. Now let me show you how powerful I am. This is Yang Lazy, one of the Black Water's gas streams. Seeing this, Mu Zioxy's grandmother said, "The disgusting crawlers are not hiding in the deep mountains and forests. Dare to assist you in his tyranny. Good. Today I'll let you experience it. The power of our illustrious family in the underworld. You two may go. I know you're hungry. Here's a juicy piece of meat to satisfy your cravings." The white-haired old lady didn't expect. It turns out to be the 17th generation head of the underworld, and can summon the ghost Qing. Dealing with one of the Northeast's black water strings, Yang Lazy. Just now, a voice was heard coming from the underground palace. "His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, you should be happy to become the Emperor soon. Why do you need to do this? HMPH. What do you understand? Go back to where you came from. Don't wade in muddy waters anymore. Your Highness, if we leave, there are no people of your own in this underground palace. Why do you want to help me? Because I need an emperor. Now you are the only one who can be the emperor. We can help you reclaim the throne. Let's take what we need and benefit mutually. How is it, Your Highness? You have also seen our abilities. What is there left to hesitate about? All right. Then help me take care of one thing. Just go to one. Don't provoke King Yu's assistant. Please pay attention. Send someone out secretly. Hide Mu Zioxy somewhere. Let the assassin of King Yu not find her. In the West Room, only the Tiger Mother can be seen. Instruct Yang Lazy to hide Mu Zioxy." At that moment, Yang Lazy shouted at Mu Zioxy's grandmother, "Old lady, you really don't know what's good for you. Your Highness kindly sent me to protect your granddaughter. How could you treat me like this? Joke. Our child needs these things to protect themselves. It's better to think carefully about how to protect yourself. Two people. Let's get started. Plump maggots. Take it back. Eat it all up." In the West Room, a malevolent spirit grabbed Yang Lazy's foot. One grabbed her arm. Seeing Yang Lazy, he shouted, "Hello, what are you going to do? What kind of situation is this? Can't we fight a civilized and polite battle? Let go. The pants are about to fall off. I dropped it. Let go of me, you shameless ones." The disgusting evil spirit actually eats bugs. It seems I need to show you some colors. You really don't know what can be eaten and what cannot. I twist. Watch me break you. Hee, it's a bargain. I'm twisting again. If you want to taste my soft body, first ask my consent. It bent again. Death is better. Enjoy my gift. Oh no, I didn't expect you, little bug, to have some skills after all. HMPH. Hello, how could a kind heart be treated like a donkey's lung? Don't blame me for being rude. With those two broken ghosts, you think you can take me down? You really underestimate me. Meanwhile, the two evil spirits were howling loudly, being tormented by Yang Lazy to the point of exhaustion. At this moment, the two evil spirits complained to Grandma about the small play. "You promised to invite us for delicious food. We can't keep chasing ghosts like this anymore. Hurry back to find Ming. The medical expenses are on you. Hurry and send them over." I said the old lady spent the whole day. What you brought are all longevity peaches made of 100 gin of dough. Waste snacks, huh? I always thought the gates of the underworld were very powerful. Only after exchanging moves can one truly understand. It turns out they were just some scare tactics. I tell you, today I must take Mu Zioxy away. Reckless, you entered my school and still want to take away my granddaughter. Today I must take you in. The 17th generation leader of the underworld, Yao Yuhong. Please summon the Ghost King, Ming. Hurry up and say goodbye to Yang. My goodness, I can't handle this guy. My thorn can't pierce through his ghostly skin. Forget it. The best strategy is to retreat. This family is too unreasonable. Let's go back. I need to talk to the boss. Whoever wants to come, let them come. I will no longer accept tasks from their family. Seeing Yang Lazy run away, the Ghost King asked, Yuhang, should we go catch that little bug that ran away? Let him go back. No need to stir up trouble. The rule of our underworld gate is that those who see it must die. Thank you, King of Ghosts. Good. Understood. This Yang Lazy was unexpectedly hit by a Ghost King's attack, held in hand like a pet. In the hall of recruitment in the underground palace, one of the 7 sages of Blackwater, the great horse monkey, said, I said, boss, we are so happy and carefree in the nature of Zinenling. Poor you. Why must we come to this dark underground palace to take orders from others? There isn't even a tree here. Don't suffocate. Hearing the bear speak, you are just an impatient monkey. Didn't the boss say so? Here is what we need. At this time, the foolish Poutsy said, isn't it just about creating a dragon tree? Why not just take it directly? Why stay here? The little rascal on the right also chimed in, yeah, I could just dig a hole and steal it too. This is what the long-haired fierce goose on the left said. What do you know? Zhao Longshu is now at Shanhaiguan, not in the underground palace. The team has gathered all the tools and is ready to take them out. When the time comes, the underground palace will surely take action, and we will just wait to reap the benefits. Right, boss. That's right. The best way is for us to get the task of robbing the dragon tree. The premise is to fulfill a wish. After all, we don't know the exact location of the treasure. During this time, several people were still thinking about how to deal with the sheep. At this moment, Yang Lazy was being kicked by a Ghost King in his hand. At this moment, he spoke with a slight sob in his voice. I really didn't want to. Please forgive me for any offense. Don't send me to the underworld to feed the ghosts. If you are willing to let me go, I can go back to the underground palace to be your insider. What I do is what I do, isn't that enough? Upon hearing this, the Ghost King said, with your limited skills, you dare to roam the martial world. Weren't you quite impressive just now? Dare to challenge us from the underworld. At that moment, Yang Lazy cried out, I'm not good. I reflect on my mistakes. I am guilty. Please spare me, Ghost Master. What a waste of space. With a spineless person like you, even chewing on you feels bland. I am not spineless. I'm just a worm. There isn't a bone at all. If you have a lot of ghosts, just throw me away. It's also bad for my stomach. All right, Ghost King. Scaring this guy a bit will still be useful to me. You return to the underworld first, and this time I will double the rewards for you. At this moment, the Yang Lazy is thrown to the ground amidst the falling rain. At that moment, a Ghost King said to Mu Zioxy's grandmother, It's rare for you to break the rules this time. Just in time, I was too lazy to eat these disgusting bugs. You said the reward should be doubled. Suddenly, Grandma Mu Zioxy murmured as she accepted this prestigious case. If this bug can really help me act as an insider in the underground palace, that would be great. After all, my mother's soul isn't safe there either. It's better to let her leave early. Little bug, if I spare you, are you really willing to be my inside informant? Hearing this, the goat said, What I say counts. Big. in a life-threatening moment. Naturally, anything will be agreed upon. Once often removed from danger, we'll forget the promise beyond the clouds. So here, let's prioritize the petty over the noble for now. I will place something on you, as long as you keep your word. I promise I won't hurt you." Suddenly, Grandma Muzayakse began to chant the mingling spell. She placed it on the sheep's back and said, "Behave, and I won't rush her. If Dan deceives me, this spirit spell will. We'll become a prestigious family and devour you. We roam the rivers and lakes of the underworld. A promise is worth 1,000 gold pieces. If you don't provoke us, I won't touch you. You don't have to worry about going back. But don't forget, you owe me a life." Only the lamb was seen at the banquet. Walking on the deserted path, Nan said, "So useless. Why do I have this thing on my back? I'm afraid we'll be at the mercy of others in the future. I missed the free days in Daxing Inling. Human society is filled with deceit. It's really not suitable for me. So disgusting. I truly miss the smell of the leaves from my hometown. Can I still go back to the greater Qing range? If I could go back, I would never leave the mountains again, never get involved in these martial world disputes again." At this moment a shoe stepped on the goat's droppings while eating half a leaf, looking at the sheep in front. Unintentionally, Nan said, "Isn't that a lamb? What did she come for? Does the Empress Dowager not trust? I sent this bug out too. You can't take credit for my achievements. The credit for eliminating the Muzayakse family. It must belong to this general, Chuchangzi. Go to hell. Wait, what is this? She carries this burden on her back." At that moment a loud bang was heard. Yang Lazy questioned, "It felt like something vibrated on my back just now. It must have been the mingling spell. Discomfort caused. So unfortunate. For no reason I was cursed. Principal of the school administration office. Jingui Zaya teaches students. For General Pinksy. What is going on? Today in Qingshui County, a group. Lai Chewer's class." Sounds came from the classroom. Mr. Zhang's voice in history class. Actually, the strength of the Qing dynasty at that time. Not enough to rule the Central Plains. If it weren't for Wu Sangui, open Shehaguin to let the Qing soldiers in. History may be rewritten. After the Qing soldiers entered the pass. Duo Ergun is dismissed. Wu Sangui did not allow the attack on Lai Sicheng. After promising to eliminate the peasant army, returned to the capital, sent back outside the pass. Little did they know, Duo Ergun says one thing and does another. After entering the capital, immediately take the 6-year-old Shanzhai emperor. Arriving at the capital, I took a seat in the Golden Orchid Hall. Then they just stayed in Beijing and wouldn't leave. Wu Sangui also became a hound for the Qing court. Spare no effort to serve it, ultimately leading to the great emperor of China, brutally ravaged under the 8 iron riders' ladder. After the Qing soldiers entered the pass, the rebels were brutally suppressed. What happened in Yangzhou in 10 days? Jaya Dingsan too. Wu Sangui charges in anger for the sake of a beauty, for the sake of a mother, turning against her own and inviting the wolf into the house. So he is a traitor to the nation. Even a great traitor wouldn't be an exaggeration. At that moment, a voice was heard outside the classroom door. "Teacher Shang, aren't you being a bit too arrogant in your speech? In my opinion, Pinksy Wang is a hero of his time. Who do you think you are to be here? Bury the elder. What qualifications do you have to comment recklessly?" Hearing the students in this classroom, there were also many discussions. Who outside dares to speak to the teacher like this? Did you take the wrong medicine? At this moment, Teacher Zhang slammed the table and told them to be quiet. Is this Wu Yizhu? Come in. HMPH. I am here for class. You can't stop me from entering. Between the raindrops, he kicked the classroom door. The moment the door was kicked open, just happened to bump into the red water bucket behind the door. Unexpectedly, the water bucket bounced back at the door. Wu Yizhu got hit and bled from his nose. This caused the classmates in the class to burst into laughter. Everyone, please be quiet in class. Wu Yizhu, what did you just say outside the door? I say, just because you're a little history teacher, not qualified to critique the king of Pinxi. Did you hear clearly? I'm sorry, I still didn't hear clearly. Do you dare to repeat that louder? I said, Teacher Zhang, may I ask, do you have chicken feathers stuffed in your ears? I say you are not qualified to evaluate Pinxi Wan Wu Sangui, even less deserving to insult the Qing dynasty. Hearing Ding Shanshan's performance from this seat, the visitor does not come with good intentions. Could it be that the underground sect sent him back? Mu Zioxi then said it was possible. Let's take a look first. Niu Dakyang said to Jiang Xingyi. Did you see it? This kid must have been bewitched by someone from the Qing dynasty. Hearing this, Jiang Xingyi said, that's right. It seems those guys have already reached the school. Meanwhile, Teacher Zhang was gradually turning dark. Quickly threw a few pieces of chalk at Wu Yizhu, just as these chalks were about to hit Wu Yizhu. But he was blocked by the imposing aura of the great King Tiger. Seeing this, the classmates began to discuss among themselves. At this moment, Teacher Zhang seemed to sense something unusual. Let the students study on their own first. So he called Wu Yizhu out to talk. Outside the corridor, Teacher Zhang asked, Wu Yizhu heard that you haven't been to school for several days. What have you been up to? What martial art were you using just now? Who did you learn from? Hearing this, Wu Yizhu said, this doesn't seem to be under Teacher Zhang's supervision, right? You are just a guest teacher, not the homeroom teacher. I will not tell you that I am currently a general of the Qing dynasty. It is even more impossible for me to tell you that this general's expedition is to eliminate the rebels for the court. You can forget about getting anything out of me. Hearing Wu Yizhu say this, Teacher Zhang, Anzai has left. This child seems to have some mental issues. But the kung fu, similar to Qigong, just now is definitely real. Could it be that they practice something to the point of obsession? Forget it. Let's send it to the guidance office for handling. Zai Jian Wu Yizhu has already arrived at the office of the teaching department. At this moment, Director Feng from the teaching department spoke up. You're quite capable, aren't you? Huan Qi arrived late and confronted the teacher. I ask you if you still miss me or not. Are you deaf or dumb? I've seen a lot of accounts like yours. A huge slap immediately struck his back and ear. If that doesn't work, then I'll give you a good beating. But I already know everything about you. So please stand properly. I offer you my respect. The petty person Feng paid a visit to General Pinxi. Wu Yizhu looked at Director Feng in front of him and said, I never expected that, Director Feng. You are actually one of my Daking people. This is great. With your cooperation, General's mission would be much easier. The subordinate simply spends a bit more time idly than the general. General, feel free to give any orders you need me to follow. Your assistance is indispensable. The Empress Dowager has issued a decree. General Zhu Shamu's family is quite troublesome. Zio Feng, do you have a good plan? This is indeed quite difficult to handle. And it can't be done at school. The consequences would be unmanageable. This semester is almost over. It's best to look for an opportunity to work during the break. Let's do it this way. Everything will be arranged by me, General. Keep the troops still. Wait for my news." Hearing this, Wu Yizhu said, "Okay, Zio Fanger, then it's up to you. I will report to the court and request a reward for you." After Wu Yizhu left, Director Feng spoke in the office. "My family has been loyal to the Qing dynasty for generations. Even with changes in dynasties, my heart has never wavered. But now the great cause is about to be achieved. The great ancestor was captured by the beggar clan, but I didn't know when I was taken in by the beggar gang. On the body, release so many ghostly things. Don't try to pull any tricks. Quickly report the situation to Elder Mayo. I tell you, except for Elder Mayo, no one can take me away from you. Hurry up. Don't wait for me to torment you." At this moment, Director Feng dialed Elder Mayozai's phone. On the other end of the phone, Mayozai said, "You can rest assured. As long as you cooperate with me, that person with the face bone will never harm you. What? How is your old ancestor doing? Don't worry. As long as you obey, we will not hurt him. Please inform me of any intelligence promptly. All right, hanging up now." At that moment, Granny Jin was about to speak. "Just listen to this story. You should help me speak." A voice was heard speaking inside the room. "Traitor, do not speak." At that moment, a hand pushed aside Mayozai. He slammed into the side hard. He was simply supported by a hand. At this moment, Mayozai said, "Thank you, Elder Zhu." "Elder Mayo, no need to be polite. A small effort is nothing to be concerned about. That old witch is eccentric and highly skilled. It's a murderous nature. It's better for us to stay away from them. Quickly put on your hat. That thing is really uncomfortable to look at. Hey, we both have big tongues eating fatty meat. Let's not speak ill of each other. Forget it. I can't compare with you. Just put it on quickly. If I take one more look, I might throw up last night's dinner. What a lovely little bug! Why doesn't anyone like to watch?" Hearing this, Elder Zhu said, "We don't have such strong tastes as you do. Hurry up and report the situation to the leader." Mayozai said from the side, "Okay, but those two old hags," Elder Zhu's Yugong said, "don't worry about them. Isn't that Shan Lai Hong prohibiting the killing of official Lai Hong? Hai Lai Hong ding duo nai nai chu chu kai." But it's really hard to guess what Shan Lai Hong is thinking. Not only does he not kill the traitor who sold him out, let him trade with the ancient king to regain his youth. I'm really curious about what the official Lai Hong looked like when he was young. Although the mountain red doesn't have a mouth anymore, but it's still beautiful. For Hai Lai Hong cleverly restored her beauty without any damage to her appearance. Just, he can no longer hear. The final exams are coming to an end soon. The school is about to start the summer vacation as usual. But this summer vacation is a bit different from usual. A summer vacation plan survey was distributed to everyone. Each student is required to fill this out and submit it. I heard it was Director Feng's idea from the education office. It is said that it's to better understand student growth. Looking at Mu Zioxi's summer vacation plan survey, said inadvertently, "Thank you, Director Feng. You don't need to worry about the rest. Mu Zioxi, let's meet at Cat Tuan." The baby passed away less than an hour after birth. Empress Dowager Cixi ordered High Priestess Sitara Qingyu to use evil magic. The white-purple lotus palace reshapes the physical body. 10 months later, the blood lotus petals fell. The petal-wrapped sea valley transforms into the southern shade. Year 1880. On the morning of July 15 in the 6th year of the reign of Emperor Guangxu, the blood moon appears in the year of the dragon. The yellow dragon shedding blood is a sign that the state is about to perish. That night, a voice was heard coming from Changshan Palace. The great King Royal Priest Zitala Qingyu had an audience. Lai Gongbong, the Empress summoned me late at night for reasons unknown. Qingyu, this is a matter of great importance, so I dare not say much. You go to meet the Empress Dowager. She will self-destruct now. The Qing Empire, having experienced a series of setbacks, is on the verge of collapse. With the blood moon appearing in the world, Empress Dowager Cixi felt a faint sense of helplessness. So she summoned the royal priest Zitala Qingyu in the late night. A top-secret order was issued. Under the responsibility of Zitara Qingyu, the underground palace is secretly constructed, and she activated a cruel forbidden technique. Qingyu felt as if she had been struck by lightning, but for Bao King, she chose to carry out the order. Those who perform this technique will instantly transform into a monster. Forced into hell after death, eternal is the cycle of rebirth. In the evening, an old man spoke to Zitara Qingyu. The high priest has prepared everything as you instructed. Bring everything over. At that moment, many figures were standing beside the flower wings. At this moment, Yu Gongbong asked, all 100 pregnant women are in place. High priest, are you really going to do this? The Empress pointed out that Kai Rong spoke too much. It started. Favor, ready to take action. At last, the royal priest of the Qing dynasty, Zitala Qingyu, to perform the forbidden technique of the white-purple lotus palace. Kill all 100 pregnant women. The victims were all submerged in the flower pool, and ordered to seal off this area immediately. No one is allowed to move within a 100-mile radius. Those who oppose must be killed without mercy, and instructed the elder to guard this place day and night. If one discovers the white-purple blood lotus blooming, immediately pick it and send it to the palace. Year 7 of Guangxu. Yugong was holding a box in his hands, running hurriedly in the corridors of the Forbidden City, and shouted, High Priest, I am back. The white-purple blood lotus has been harvested by your servant. Okay, we can begin now. Please invite Minjun Wang over. The old man then brought Minjun Wang over. He quickly unwrapped the package. Minjun Wang spoke from the cotton mouth of his body. It has been over 20 years since the high priest. This Minjun Wang is truly pitiable. Hearing this, Tara Qingyu said, That's right. The birth chart of this prince. It is a rare command from the new king of the nation, even comparable to the fate of the holy ancestor, Emperor Kangxi. At that time, everyone thought, this is the democracy bestowed upon the Qing dynasty by heaven. Who would have thought it would pass away just an hour after being born? Didn't even have time to name it. It seems that heaven no longer favors the great king. Sigh, now I reshape your flesh among mortals for you. I hope you can revive the glory of my Qing dynasty. I will also help you. It is not in vain that I must endure everything due to the injustices of heaven. July of the 7th year of Guangxu. The King royal priest Zitala Qingyu performs the ritual at the White Lotus Palace, using the Bai Zai Zhu lion to summon Minjun Wang. Yihai connected with his body's meridians to reshape his flesh and blood. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered. Thunder roars and lightning strikes above the Forbidden City. 10 months later, the blood lotus petals fell. Petals wrapped around the sea turned into the southern shade. Zitala Qingyu reported to Empress Dowager Cixi. Name it as Ai Zinju Yuo. Revocation. The old man's fat sheep disappeared overnight. It turned into a monster with a human head and a sheep's body. What is going on? A voice of a ghostly doll echoed through the yard at night. Quickly tell me what their weaknesses are. Even with my head smashed to pieces, I still won't speak. The old guy's mouth is really tough. You thought not telling us would work. Aren't we their match? We have 100 troops. Just by numbers we can crush the rebels." At that moment, Muzaiaxi's old grandfather trembled as he spoke. "I don't know anything." "I know, but I won't tell you." Giant Muzaiyozai's old grandpa picked up the phone. The ghost dolls were discussing. "Be careful. What is that in his hand? Could it be a magical artifact?" At that moment, Muzaiaxi's old grandfather's phone rang, kicked away unintentionally. "Old man, what are you doing? Do you still want to spread the news? I really admire your determination. I just can't do it." I slapped him and asked if he was dumb. "Forget it. It's okay if you don't say anything, even if Muzaiaxi's grandmother is around. This general is not afraid either. Children, first, drag the old man inside and keep a close watch on him," as he was gradually dragged away by the ghost dolls, muttering to oneself, "Elder sister, Sai, you must not come here." On the other side, at Grandma Muzaiaxi's house, received a text from my younger brother. Grandma Muzaiaxi said, "Look at your old grandfather's impatience. Ha ha. Sai, ah. So much has happened during this period. You should relax like a child. It's just right to go to the countryside and have some fun for a few days. But Grandma, I still need to begin my true training. Let's relax a bit. Cultivation depends on the arrangement of fate. You don't have to be so deliberate. If heaven has chosen you, you have to do it. Efforts are futile if you go against the truth." The two chatted idly during the meal. The next evening a bus arrived at Cat Cow Village. After getting off the car, Muzaiaxi couldn't wait to rush to Old Yi's house. Looking at Muzaiaxi in front of her, she found it difficult. Is this how a youth should be? To be honest, I really don't want her to get involved in the world of martial arts. What did you say to her grandfather? Also unwilling to inherit the magic of the underworld gates. How wonderful it would be to live a carefree pastoral life. Sai, temporarily forget the martial world. Cherish this brief moment of relaxation. Magic deepens lifelong responsibility. It was supposed to be a joyful visit to see my old grandfather, but the scene before Muzaiaxi left her stunned. The courtyard was now covered in blood. At that moment a sheep's skeleton appeared in front of the two. Seeing this, Muzaiaxi's grandmother said, "Oh no, little brother is probably being haunted by a monster. My noble door can only be opened at night. What should we do?" "Grandma, one day it was still dark for a while. It seems I'll have to hold the fort for a while. Chulongling Temple, I need your help again. Damn monsters, I ask you all. What have you done to me?" A group of ghost dolls raided a farmhouse, leaving only the bones of the sheep. Just now, this sheep was reduced to nothing but bones. Rushing towards Muzaiaxi, Grandma Muzaiaxi shouted, "Zai, be careful." Seeing this, Muzaiaxi quickly danced around, stepping on the edge of the soul. "Elder San is looking at you now." The fish fell and struck the ghost doll on the heads of these people and sheep. At this moment the bones of the sheep were already shattered into pieces. At this moment the ghostly dolls floated out from the sheep's bones. Just here the ghost doll in front say, "Everyone be careful. This guy's whip is really powerful. If chosen, I'm afraid it will be the end of me. What should we do if we cannot cause harm to others?" At that moment a voice was heard coming from inside the courtyard. "A bunch of fools. After all, the newly recruited scouts have very poor adaptability in real combat situations. But it's all so strange. If everyone could be capable like me, wouldn't they all be generals? It seems that nothing can be done without this general personally in charge, who gave me such great abilities. Rebellious Muzioxi, today you are probably unable to escape the consequences of the Qing dynasty. Now, two paths lie before you. One chooses to plead guilty and return with General Ben. Another one, then this general will eliminate all of you. But I've heard that the Crown Prince has feelings for you. If you are willing to return to the palace with me, perhaps you can not only avoid punishment, but also gain favor. How are you? Just come back with me. In this way, I completed the task without offending the Crown Prince. Just as he finished speaking, Muzioxi's Changling Tayo hung whiplashed towards him. However, I was blocked by Wu Yiju's imposing aura. At that moment, he said, "Stubborn and unyielding. It seems I can only eliminate you since the one in power is the Empress Dowager. I'm not afraid of offending that little prince." Giant Changling wielded the soul whip but couldn't hit Wu Yizhu. At that moment, the white fairy hedgehog attached to Muzio's shoulder said, "Perhaps the attack range of Chang Sanjai was too wide, dispersing its power. Let me give it a try. Perhaps concentrating power at the tip of a needle can break through her aura." Hearing this, Muzioxi said it made sense. The smaller the area of force application, the greater the pressure. Concentrating power on a single point might break through her defenses. Muzioxi threw the white spirit heart-piercing needle straight at Wu Yizhu. Seeing this, Wu Yizhu chuckled darkly, just a trivial skill. Do you think mere beasts' methods can withstand the might of our great king? At that moment, Wu Yizhu exuded an aura of a powerful Qing dynasty tiger, blocked the piercing white spirit that came flying towards me. Seeing this situation, Muzioxi was stunned. When did this guy become so strong? How are you? It's not working anymore, right? Oh, you fools, are you just going to watch and not come help me? Everyone is waiting for the food to be served. Hearing the ghost dolls speak, "General, we can only gain strength through the bodies of animals. Moreover, even when attached to an animal, it takes time to fully gain control. What a bunch of idiots. Do you only know how to attach yourself to animals? Isn't a person also an animal? Go attach yourself to Muzioxi. Let's use our numerical advantage. I don't believe she can withstand it. This is an order. After capturing the thief, one can receive the emperor's favor." Yulyu saw this group of ghost dolls relentlessly attacking Muzioxi. Seeing this, Muzioxi's grandmother said, Xiaozai had no choice but to start killing. Just as this group of ghost dolls was about to rush towards Muzioxi, Muzioxi took off the fox spirit cloak draped over her. With a casual wave, a cloud of ghostly yellow mist instantly released around. Seeing this, I couldn't help but exclaim, "How could this happen?" Muzioxi really has this skill. The little chubby boy was still daydreaming about eating delicious fatty meat later. Little did they know that danger was closing in step by step. Just now, one of the ghost dolls accidentally accused, "Why do we have to be bossed around like slaves by this black pig? He knew we couldn't withstand that whip yet still made us go. Not only do they not leave, but they also want to clean us up. I see that this black pig is essentially using our lives to exchange for its own labor." Nonsense. Who is spouting nonsense and disturbing the morale of the troops? Do you not want to live anymore? I see who dares to disobey. Hurry and find Muzioxi for me. I refuse to believe that a living person can just disappear. You fools, hurry up and search for it. A group of useless people can't keep track of a single one. At that moment, these unintentional words also drew the curse of the ghost doll. The ghost dolls all scolded him, calling him a stinky black pig and wishing for his death. It makes me so angry just to look at it. You dare to eat at the table, right? You don't want to be stung by a wasp any more, right? Who is leading this? Get out here. I, the general, won't let you off if you don't clean up the mess. You dare to insult us again, you black pig. Seeing this situation, I inadvertently swallowed and took a step back. Then they ran into the house. At this moment, Mu Zioxy's grandmother found it difficult to speak. It should be Zio Zai who is inciting the ghost dolls. Well done! But how did this child manage to do it? Forget it. The sun is about to set. Then I'll definitely teach that little chubby guy a lesson. At that moment, someone in the room quietly looked out the window and said, Mu Zioxy, I know it is you who has confused our troops with your deceitful words. I advise you to come out and surrender immediately. Otherwise, don't blame this general for being rude to this old thing. Unintentionally. You're so despicable, let him go right now. If you have the guts, come out and fight. Picking on an untrained old man is not impressive. What is there? It turns out it was a transformed ghost doll that sneaked in to incite chaos. Mu Zioxy, you really are something else. Truly a skilled method, as expected from someone chosen by His Highness. It's easy to keep the old man alive. Come back to the palace with me. Maybe in the future I'll have to call you Empress. Mu Zioxy said to the ghost doll, unintentionally, you have gone too far. Yu Luo then saw that he had returned to his original self and said, unintentionally, I risked myself several times to save you after all. We are classmates. I didn't expect you to be so inhuman. Consider me blind if you dare touch me today. I'll do the same with a finger. I promise to make you unable to see tomorrow's sunrise. I can't believe it. Why did I suddenly hold back even my farts? Could Mu Zioxy still point out farts? Damn it. Why should I be afraid when I have someone who knows me in my hand? Stop trying to scare me. If you don't obey, I'll take care of this old man right away. All right. You all calm down, I understand. This is all a misunderstanding. This should be addressed as General Wu Right. Correct? This general's surname is Wu. Zio Zai is naive, and I hope General Wu can be magnanimous. I didn't know that the crown prince of the Qing dynasty was interested in our little Zai. This is a great blessing. We still have to rely on General Wu for more praise. Rendna, what are you talking about? At that moment, Mu Zioxy's grandmother said, you girl really don't understand. If you can marry the crown prince of the Qing dynasty, you will be a noble consort in the future. Isn't this matter dependent on General Wu's assistance? Hearing this, Mu Zioxy also had fierce expression. What else? I really didn't expect that the Mu family had someone so sensible. Is this right? He silently thought to himself. If it can truly lead to the desired outcome. I have effectively handed over the future emperor as well. In this way, my status in the Qing dynasty is simply, I'm really a little clever one. All right, all right. Nyan, you have the spirit of repentance, great general. I won't pursue your rebellion charges for now. After all this time, I, the general, am already starving. Hurry up and prepare the meal. Let's chat about Zio Zai's wedding while we eat. What the general said is absolutely correct. Then let's prepare a meal to honor the general. Mu Zioxy stood by with a dark expression. His grandmother said, Zio Zai, hurry and come help with your situation with the crown prince. I rely entirely on others to make the connections. It was about to get dark. We can't let General Wu go hungry anymore. Now that it's dark, we should properly entertain General Wu. Meanwhile, the ghostly dolls lying on the eaves, it seems that Wu Yizhu is about to face great trouble. At this moment, Wu Yizhu adopted an arrogant posture. He spoke to Mu Zioxi's grandmother. "I tell you, this general can't live without meat or preserved food. Make sure the meat is fatty enough and well cured, do you hear me?" At that moment, Wu Yizhu was still daydreaming. "When we eat the delicious fatty meat later," little Mu Zioxi's grandmother behind her. At this moment, the prestigious family has been summoned. The little chubby boy was completely unaware that the low-belly ghost king was standing behind him. When he realized it, he was so scared that he wet his pants. At that moment, Wu Yizhu was completely unaware. Mu Zioxi's grandmother has summoned the prestigious family. At this moment, he proudly said, "Tell you all to hurry and bring me something to eat. I'm hungry. Even so, you still have to make it a bit messy for me. This general has a bad mouth. Last time I was slapped by Mu Yueshan. This will eventually be accounted for by General Zhang." Just as he turned his head to look, he was suddenly startled. "What is this thing?" At that moment, the red-haired demon king reached out with one hand towards Wu Yizhu. Seeing this, Wu Yizhu also took a few steps back. At this moment, the crimson-haired demon king has yet to make a move. At that moment, Mu Zioxi said to her grandmother, "Grandma, look!" The ghost king seems afraid to touch Wu Yizhu. As the rain fell, the two quickly covered their mouths and noses. At this moment, Mu Zioxi was just about to speak. His grandmother said, "Don't talk, be careful of poisoning." At this moment, a foul-smelling gas filled the air. A voice came from behind Wu Yizhu. The red-haired demon king, still not fully enraged, almost forced his way through. "I think," he said, "it's better for you to handle your own affairs in the mortal realm. There are many things to handle in the underworld, so I will head back first. I'm really sorry. Please don't call me for this kind of situation in the future." After the red-haired demon king left, Grandma Mu Zioxi said, Zai had no choice but to give in. Now, Wu Yizhu is not just a ghost king anymore. Even the great celestial beings wouldn't dare approach him. Mu Zioxi asked where her old injury was hurting. He said it was nothing. That little chubby guy is really something else. Why did the older sister just confiscate it from him? Aren't we rivals? Don't mention it. It's all my fault for being too eager to save you. Now, even the ghost kings and immortals dare not approach him. It sounds like I still can't compete with him. Is that little kid really that amazing? It's not Grandma who summoned the fierce ghost king. They actually pulled out all the shit that Wu Yizhu had. Well, let me tell you, you practitioners are just too pretentious. Isn't it just poop? When we farm and fertilize, which day do we not deal with these? So I've never liked practicing law since I was young. After all the effort, I ended up losing to a bag of poop. Yuluo saw him tearing off his own clothes. Seeing this, Mu Zioxi said, "Old master, what do you want to do? Ease out, it's dangerous. Quickly hide at the back." "Hee hee, you still rely on unloading at the back? Don't pull a muscle." At that moment, Mu Zioxi's old grandfather asked, "Where are you going, kid?" The old man quickly moved aside, saying, "This general needs to find a place to wash up and change pants." As soon as Wu Yizhu finished speaking, Mu Zioxi threw a stone at his head. He was immediately knocked to the ground. "Are you comfortable, kid?" "Uncle, I haven't fought with anyone in many years." Wu Yizhu was knocked to the ground. The ghost dolls on the eaves also burst into laughter at this moment. At this moment, Mu Zioxi asked her grandmother, "I didn't realize that old Yi was actually so social." His grandmother told him, "How old are you? You should know how we treat our guests." Your grandfather was quite a figure in Mao New Tun back in the day. No opponent in the 10-mile radius. A friend on the road gave him a nickname, Yao who also became like this because of your great-grandmother. It was my mother who didn't pass the underworld spells to him. So that's how it is. This is called, no matter how skilled you are, you still fear a kitchen knife. No matter how powerful the magic is, it still fears a brick. At this moment, Wu Yizhi was beaten until his head was bleeding profusely. I only heard him say, "Old man, do you think the King General is just for show? Look back. The court has come to make a decision for me. Today, none of you will survive." The Min Junwang, who should have disappeared along with the river of history. Now, he has ascended the throne as emperor in the underground King Palace. Just now, a voice was heard from the deepest part of the underground palace. "King Yu, you really have a deep affection for the Qing dynasty. I truly admire you. If all the important officials in the late Qing dynasty were like you. Isn't the Qing dynasty? Wendy, now King Yu just wants to be true to herself. I have sacrificed too much for the Qing dynasty. The Empress Dowager is no longer here. Now he rightfully belongs to my dynasty." "Do you mean?" Suddenly, I heard King Yu say that the full moon has arrived. The new army is about to ascend the throne, but the emperor's mind is still immature. King Yu's individual strength may be difficult to manage. I dare to request that you take on the role of regent for our Qing dynasty. Help me see the Qing dynasty again. May I ask if the prince would be gracious enough to preside over the regency?" Hearing this, the regent said that the great king was gone early in the morning. This king has also achieved complete merit. "King Yu, do you know why I still wait here?" King Yu understood. "If you are willing to help, King Yu is willing to marry the prince." "Oh, aren't you afraid that a union between humans and demons won't end well?" "Fair. But am I still considered a human now?" At this moment, the regent said congratulations to you, officially joining the ranks of the Yao Zion. I am willing to help my Fu Jin create a brand new Qing dynasty. No matter what lies ahead, I will protect you to the end. Only two people could be seen walking deeper into the underground palace. They want to lift the seal on the demon that has been sealed for centuries. The full moon rises on the 15th day of the 7th month in the year of the dragon. In the underground palace, a grand music that did not belong to this era resonated. These Qing dynasty people should have been buried long ago. They all put on the new clothes they had prepared a century ago. These demons have finally awaited this day, under the presiding of Empress King Yu, the crown prince of the Qing dynasty. Eizenjioro Luofu, put on the dragon robe to inherit the throne, originally only aimed at supporting the country. Yet now an empire has been born that dominates the realm of spiritual cultivation. Because this is the first empire of the spiritual world, its fixed year name is Lingyuan. However, the Lingyuan emperor knew well that the real power of the empire was not in his hands. The person behind the curtain is the true ruler of the empire. Not only that, in front of him, in the grand hall, there still resides a giant python demon, regent. At that moment, the regent spoke to the monstrous beings before him. "You are all forbidden demons sealed by the royal priests of past dynasties. Now the Yonjang emperor of the Qing dynasty has ascended the throne. The emperor bestows a great amnesty upon you all. You will return to the human world one day. In the future, through false filial piety, the king will seek redemption and strive to receive the emperor's favor soon. If you have a divided heart, I will not show mercy." As the rain fell, the regent looked at the crown prince and said, "Your Majesty, you must prioritize a stable foundation before ascending to the throne. I bring your majesty a large number of capable and virtuous individuals for your blessing and protection, but the court cannot mistreat them either. Therefore, the emperor should confer titles on them after receiving the support of the Zhaolong tree. I humbly request your majesty's approval." At this moment, Crown Prince Fidu was still unresponsive. Seeing this, the regent king asked Crown Prince Fu to take action, yet still received no response. At this moment, King Yu said, "Your Majesty, the regent is requesting the emperor's approval." At the banquet, only the crown prince could be heard speaking word by word, but ready to proceed. As soon as the two words approved were uttered, the monsters outside the palace thanked the crown prince for his favor. Then they burst into laughter. 100 ghost dolls were surprisingly sleeping on the curtains of the Lotus Flower Hall, and the woman in front of them, flushed all over, is their mother. By the Lotus Hall outside Cat Cow Tun at night, Mu Zioxi looked at the two Qing dynasty people in the Lotus Hall and said, "What kind of person is so powerful that they can crush someone like this?" At that moment, Mu Zioxi's great-grandmother, who was attached to Liu Gongbong, spoke. "It seems that the beggars' sect is using the dividing gold-thanking ancient method, and those beggars have been staring at us. I've also heard from friends in the Tao community. Those begging can manipulate people and use them for their own gain. But what are they trying to achieve by doing this? Is that General Shi related to the beggars' sect?" Hearing this, Mu Zioxi's great-grandmother looked at the two Qing dynasty men and said, "It's hard to say. Let's not make wild guesses. It seems like they just died, and their eyes are still open." During this time, Mu Zioxi's grandmother asked her to use the general's eye to see the images they witnessed before their death. After a person has died for a period of time, the eyes of the corpse still hold the images seen just before death, and your general's eyes should be able to see those images. Focus all your attention on the left eye. Fix your gaze on that eunuch's eyes. Pupil, during this time, I only heard Mu Zioxi say, "I saw it." I saw a figure move so fast that it took only a few seconds to deal with the two eunuchs. When the movements are so fast that it's impossible to see how they are happening, then quickly left after realizing. It passed by in a flash. Although I couldn't see that person's face clearly, I recognized that silhouette. At that moment, several people asked in unison, "Who is it?" Mu Zioxi said it was Lu Fa from the gang of beggars, one of the 4 great elders, wishing prosperity. "What do these beggars want again?" Hearing this, Lord Liu said it was likely due to the dragon-making technique hidden in Shanhaiguan. Now, Uncle Dai is also keeping an eye on this thing. Just wait for the beggars' sect to retrieve it and then snatch it back. What's going on? Even a beggar can become a dragon among men. The king of beggars. Then when you go out to beg, others should give a few more coins, right? At that moment, a woman's voice came from the flower hall. "Not at all. With the blessing of dragon crafting, anyone can become a dragon among men. If the royal consort learned of this, she would bestow titles upon all the demons to empower them. Are you one of those haunted dolls, Ding Mama? I am indeed unworthy. You are Mu Zioxi, the one who wits the children right." "That's right. What do you mean?" "Are you trying to stand up for your ghostly children?" The young hero misunderstood. "I not only didn't mean that, but I also want to thank you." "Are you saying you appreciate me for hitting them?" "Yes. The children told me everything that happened. If it weren't for their luck in meeting you, he was led astray by that black, fat man. So please accept my bow. This isn't appropriate, is it? Actually, I wasn't thinking that much at the time. By the way, where are those dolls?" Suddenly, a giant lotus pod soared into the air, radiating anger. At this moment, Bai Zillion's mother's voice came, saying they are here. The children said they didn't like the outside world. They just want to sleep here with me forever. Hearing this, Muzai said, "Isn't that great? Why bother getting involved in those disputes? I want to too, but I can't. They must leave me now. But it's wonderful for a child to be with their mother. I haven't had the chance to do it this way yet." At this moment, Grandma Muzai asked, "Lion Mu, so you mean that in order to resurrect the crown prince, King Yu killed 100 pregnant women. They were all pitiful fetuses killed in the womb. I have been using my own spiritual energy to feed them for nearly 100 years. Now my spiritual energy is exhausted, and I can no longer sustain their lives. So I kindly ask everyone to help the children get the hornet. They lack cultivation. This is the only way for them to survive." Hearing this, Grandma Muzai said it would be hard to help, because we are arch enemies with the Qing dynasty of the underground palace. At this moment, Muzai stepped forward and said, "I am willing to help you. Maternal love is great. This woman is trying to extend her children's lives by another year. Ultimately, she poured all her spiritual power into her children. Then the body dissipated into thin air, transforming into a lotus pod. Just now, Muzai grandmother shouted, 'Little stream, how can you casually promise things to a monster? Yeah, if you can't do it, you'll also become a monster. I'm talking about you all. The more skilled you are, the more you fear that I see no faults in the small stream. When you see injustice on the road, shout out. When it's time to act, take action. Little stream, I'll help you with this matter as long as it's reasonable.'" At that moment, Muzai said, "I think this matter should be addressed. Those children are innocent. Even a flower fairy can sacrifice herself to save them. Moreover, as cultivators, I don't understand the profound wisdom of adults. I only know that I can't ignore what I do for these children who will lose their mothers. The child without a mother is too pitiful." Muzai asked Bai Zillion's mother how long her children could hold on. Bai Zillion's mother said it would take a year. At that moment, Muzai grandmother spoke to Bai Zillion's mother. "We still have enough time, so let's find a way to help you. Just wait here for news. Rest assured, mother, I have met that emperor. He is very kind. Moreover, if I ask him, he will definitely give me face. Just wait for my good news." As soon as this was said, Muzai was also questioned by everyone. "Why do you have so much face in front of the emperor?" Meanwhile, Bai Zillion's mother thanked everyone and said, "I just can't see the day when the children present in the wind anymore. You are all good people, and I believe you won't deceive me. Only by injecting my last bit of spiritual power into Bai Lion can it be done. Only barely able to let the children survive for another year, and I will return to nature. I will now channel all my spiritual energy into Ling Meng. The children can survive for a year thanks to it, and I will revert to my original form. Take it to Bai Feng's celestial day, where good news flourishes at Gao Lion Pond. Goodbye. It's great to meet you all. Zai, you can summon them to fight alongside you at any time. If the children ask about me, I'll say I went to a faraway place." The creek made a request. After Bai Zillion's mother left, Muzai grandmother comforted her. "Don't be too sad. Actually, this isn't a very good outcome. No longer burdened by those blood debts. How beautiful is Lion Mu in her original form! Just by looking at Lion Mu, you can tell. She was deeply affected by the blood and resentment of those victims. If you continue to cultivate, you will surely fall into the path of darkness. Seeing the cruelty of humanity, She returned to nature. Until this point, Lord Liu said, "We help Lion Mu get the wasps for the children. Xiao Zai is currently unable to see the emperor. I will return to the palace now to find an opportunity to discuss this matter. A year should be enough, but it's urgent right now. It is essential to retrieve the dragon crafting technique from the beggar's sect. Seize her back to the imperial palace before the leader uses her. Xiao Zai is right. The little emperor is not a bad person. We don't need to be enemies with him. Indeed, the world is full of uncertainties. It seems this is the only way. Then we have to deal with Qing and the beggar's sect." At that moment, Mu Zioxi looked at Bai Zillion's mother and said to Grandma Heihua, "Lion Mu, we will definitely fulfill what I promised you. Don't worry." Seeing this, Mu Zioxi's grandmother told her to leave. Bai Zilion's mother can no longer hear. Just as Mu Zioxi was about to leave, voices came from the Lotus Flower Hall. "Please wait a moment." This sound also caught the attention of the four immortals. The four fairies all criticized the Grey Fairy for being too cunning. At this moment, the Grey Fairy sighed. The five immortals of Chulinglin have finally come together again. At 1:30 in the morning, an unexpected guest arrived at the farmhouse. Meanwhile, the people in the room were sound asleep, completely unaware of this. Just now, the four fairies questioned the Grey Fairy, Old Wu. "Where have you been all this time? And where have our true selves gone?" At this moment, the Grey Fairy's fifth brother mentioned big brother, second brother, third sister, and fourth brother. The younger brother just escaped after being captured and imprisoned in the underground palace. Our true selves have all been turned into pills by that dog emperor. The remaining four immortals spoke in unison. "What? The dog emperor has eaten us. So we have all become wandering souls and wild ghosts. That emperor turned out to be such a selfish person." Hearing this, Liu Gongbong whispered to Mu Zioxi, "No, this rat is avoiding responsibility. Everyone in the palace knows it was him who actively sold those four immortals. It is a fact that refining elixirs requires the true body. But that was not the emperor's intention. I didn't expect this mouse to be so despicable we should expose him." At this time, Mu Zioxi's grandmother also agreed that such lowly scum should not be left alive. Mother is a sole servant. That being said, but with him we can successfully track down Wu Yizhu's whereabouts. Following the unintentional path, we will reach the beggar's gang. Xiao Zai, you can just do him a favor. Bring the soul-lost slave with you. One must be wary of these treacherous sycophants." Meanwhile, the other four immortals said they wanted to settle the score with that dog emperor. At this moment, Mu Zioxi interrupted the four immortals. "Hey, calm down first. I have something to say to Huey Lao Wu." Seeing this, the fox fairy said, "Old Five, quickly go and respond to Miss Mu. Listen carefully to what others say. Our future depends entirely on them." Meanwhile, Lao Wu was stunned on Nannan Island. "I'm going. I just noticed that the deputy manager is still here with the Mu family. Lao Wu, hurry up and bring those eggs." "Okay, I'm going now." A person and a mouse came to a stop at a place. At this moment, Mu Zioxi asked why betray a friend. "Since you already know. This immortal will no longer hide the wild beasts. You humans have a term called friendship. We are the same. We had a disagreement due to the issue with the Xiantu. They look down on me and definitely won't listen to my opinion. So I chose the path I believed was right. So you naturally sold those four immortals to the underworld. Is that right?" "That's right. But I did not mean any harm. I want to prove that taking the hornet path is the right choice. Once you become an immortal through the bee, You no longer need your true form. It's not a losing deal to use it for trading. I originally planned to request the Emperor to confer additional titles to the 4 immortals after I ascend. Then the 5 of us pledged allegiance together. Little did he know he was being discarded after serving his purpose. Especially that unintentional Jew trapped me inside to absorb my spiritual energy. If it weren't for his incontinence this time, I still don't know when I can escape from that lump of fat. So it's come to this. If you want to kill me, go ahead. Who said I was going to kill you? So you mean that. At that moment, Muzioxi crouched down and said, "How about we make a deal? You return to the 5 Immortals team to help us capture the Dragon Mouse. Give Bai Zai and you 5 Immortals to deal with the Yellow Wasps. If you are willing to make amends for your mistakes, I will always keep your secret. Thank you, Miss Mu, for giving me a chance to correct my mistakes. I swear to the heavens, in the future, I will follow your lead as if the 2 stars are like thunder shaking the cauldron. Welcome back to the team." Just like that, Muzioxi gathered the 5 guardians of Chulangalang. After everything was arranged, Tai Lao stood up and returned to the palace. He has gained another identity now. Mu family's secret contact with the Emperor. After tossing and turning for most of the night, it was already the early hours. Mu Zai and the others finally returned to the employment platform to rest. It's 1:30 in the morning. Everyone slept very soundly due to exhaustion. No one noticed. A surprise guest has arrived outside the window without anyone noticing. The unexpected visitor outside the rural homestead late at night. I didn't expect to be unable to resist the weakness of having my chin scratched. Just as Muzioxi was falling asleep, unaware that a figure was standing outside the window at that moment. At that moment, the 5 immortals of the Northeast spotted a figure outside the window, and kept calling Muzioxi to wake up quickly. Muzioxi slowly opened her eyes, and asked if it was you. "What are you doing?" The Northeast 5 immortals said to her, "Look out the window." When she finally saw the scene before her, it really scared her. Just then a shadow with glowing green eyes was seen crouching outside the window. Seeing this, Muzioxi hurriedly called for her grandmother to wake up. When she looked towards her grandmother, "Grandma, who should have been sleeping beside me." At this moment, no one could be seen. At this moment, Muzioxi shouted, "No matter what kind of monster you are, if you touch my family, I will never spare you." Jiao Muzio pounced over. Seeing this, Muzioxi quickly urged Changling to step forward. He swung towards that shadowy figure. This figure easily dodged Muzioxi's side. Suddenly she rushed towards Muzioxi, saying with her mouth, "The snake's skill lies in its venomous fangs, which paralyze the target." The second method is to use the body to choke the target, rendering them breathless. But you learned to use your tail like a whip, just like a tiger. Once you miss your shot up close, you can't attack again. Suddenly there was a loud burst. Chang Zian transformed back into a spirit form from Chang Ling's soul. At the same time, Bai Ling's piercing heart shot out from Mu Zai's shoulder. Seeing this, the figure said that the hedgehog was really meant for self-comfort, surprisingly used for attack. At this speed, it can probably only hit a slow-moving turtle. The weasel is not using its impressive deceptive abilities. Unexpectedly, they put their hair up for defense, although it can resist the enemy's mental interference. But there aren't many like you weasels who deceive people with square shapes. So most of the time, you have no opportunity to use your skills. Shoot at appearances and wait by the tree stump for a hare. They say the fox is the smartest. Look at you transforming in your heavy cloak. The fox's transformation was originally to hide itself. Are you afraid that people won't see it? With your limited skills, how can you serve as a bodyguard for Miss Moo? The key is that it's still hard to look at the zero. Failure within failure. If I encountered a slightly stronger opponent, my life would have been over. Fortunately, today's visitors are friends, not foes. Seeing this, Muzaiaxi stepped back a step. Suddenly, using the gray spirit dullness technique, it dulled into the ground. What is it? This rat's skills are quite well utilized, not a complete failure. At that moment, a hand suddenly emerged from the ground. Suddenly, Mu Zaiaxi's figure appeared behind Ding Shanshan. I only heard her mention Ding Shanshan. US Sangu ran here in the middle of the night to compete with me in blue energy. Don't think I can't handle the girl. Once there was a cat spirit. I can't believe I haven't overcome my weakness for having my chin scratched. Failure. The man was able to capture the giant deep-sea shark, and taking its internal organs can be quite a unique flavor. Continuing from the last time, just now, Mu Zaiaxi asked Flower Sangu why her grandmother just disappeared. Sangu told her that she had cast an illusion spell. Then Mu Zaiaxi asked her uncle if he had also cast an illusion. Despite the commotion, they haven't woken up. Sangu then told her, her uncle's sleep quality is truly excellent. There's no need to cast a spell at all. Hearing this, Mu Zaiaxi also resolved her doubts. During the banquet, Sangu urged Mu Zaiaxi to go outside. I have something to say to her and those 5 immortals. They arrived outside the courtyard. At this moment, Mu Zaiaxi said that it was Elder Mu who sent you here. No wonder you're so amazing. And San, you are the cat fairy by the side of the ancestor. The ancestor sent you here with some instructions, right? That is nature. I come to guide you younger ones. The second is to bring you the important instructions from our ancestors. It's not worth bothering everyone over trivial matters. Immortal, just now, it was clear that your skill is far beyond ours. If we could receive your guidance, it would truly be our fortune. Look at how this little fox can talk. Hong, the great immortal, is indeed quite impressive. Why should I treat you like my big brother? Unlike that ugly one behind, I saw the mouse die in front of the cat. Nonsense. I was originally a rat and you were a cat. What if you get so happy that you eat me? Come on. I was the royal cat in the palace back in the day. Every meal is a feast of delicacies from the mountains and the sea. I don't care about eating mice. Sangu, you just said that our family's great-aunt sent you with important instructions. Is it also related to the matter of the underground palace? That's right. The old lady has a few words she wants me to pass on to you. The celestial festival gazes upon the world. Smoke rises from the battle of the underworld, resisting evil and punishing treachery. The overlord of the underworld awakens. On the other side at Shanhaiguan, the young leader of the Xiaobeng gazed at the distant sea. Our ancestors built the world's greatest pass. The old dragon head is like a flood dragon entering the sea, blocking the enemies in the north. The thief's intrusion was merely a fleeting moment. If it weren't for Wu Sangui bringing King Ding into the pass. Ah, history has no ifs. The sound of waves splashing on the sea surface is heard. The little helper wondered what that was. At that moment, a shadow appeared under the bright moon, followed by a voice speaking. Boss, look what I brought you. Another shark. I already said I don't like eating this thing. Meanwhile, Elder Lu Fa picked out the shark's entrails and said, The leader looked at what I brought for you. You are happy. As the rain fell, Elder Lu kicked a bundled object towards the little leader. At this moment, the little leader raised his right hand and unleashed the true dragon aura. Suddenly, the package burst open. What unexpectedly came into view was unintentional. "Elder Lu, you really are something. Isn't that General Wu from the Qing dynasty?" This boy was cruelly dismembered by members of the beggars' sect. The one who removed his limbs used the long-lost technique known as the broken gold unloading bones. Just now I was accidentally thrown onto the shore by the little helper. Look at this poor little expression. It's clear it was just pamper. At that moment, the little leader laughed heartily. "With this item, we can exchange for Wu Sangwi's soul. Heaven truly helps me. In this way, won't Wu Zai's treasure be easily obtainable? Those things are enough to make the Han family across the world rejoice. I am an official of the great King. Please show me some respect." "Oh, isn't that so? We can't afford to offend the officials of the Qing dynasty. Elder Lu, you haven't been negligent towards General Wu on this journey, have you?" The leader is joking. "How could I dare to neglect a hero like General Wu? Am I still at sea serving the general, cleaning the corpse? That's more like it. It is a great honor for our gang to have someone like General Wu here. It turns out to be the beggars' sect. So you admire me and specially came to Mangyutan to ask me to join?" "That's right. If Wu Yingshan could join our beggars' sect, it would be a great honor." Hearing this, Wu Yizhu murmured to himself, "I heard that currently no sect in the martial world has as large a power as the beggars' gang. If I join the beggars' sect, wouldn't I have double support? I'm really quite a clever little one. Easy to say. It's rare for you to hide your talents. I wonder what kind of treatment the beggars' sect can offer me. Is it the hall master or the elder?" Wu Yingshan laughed. "Even if we elders are tied together, we are not as worthy as your heel, let alone those hall masters below." "Exactly, exactly. Wu Yingshan's skills should qualify him to be a leader. I'll let it be idle. Uncertain how Wu Yingshan is doing. I hope you won't decline." "Oh my! General of the Qing dynasty, Jia Bai, the leader of the gang. I never expected that I, Wu Yizhu, would reach the peak of my life like this. Okay, okay, okay. Thinking of your unwavering aspirations. Then I will reluctantly help you manage things. You let Zion Yaobang act as the deputy leader and assist a bit. But I have to help, and you and Ke are sworn enemies. Wu Yingshan is willing to go against your original master. What is this? Whoever gives me more benefits, I'll work for them." The fish fell, and only 2 teeth were seen lying on the ground. Meanwhile, the voice of the little leader could be heard. "Wu Yizhu, do you know what I, with the surname Zhu, hate the most? That is a traitor." The young leader ordered Elder Lu to cripple Wu Yi's limbs and take him back to the branch cave. Hearing the leader's command, Elder Lu approached Wu Yizhu. He used his most proud technique, Fanjin Zaigu Shu, on Wu Yizhu. "Wu Yingshan, don't be afraid. I have sealed your meridians. You won't bleed or die. Once we're done with you, we'll send you back to the underworld to continue being your general." At that moment, Wu Yizhu stood on the ground like a weeble wobble. Seeing this, the young leader praised. "Elder Lu, your skill in Jin Zaigu is truly unparalleled in the world. Probably no one in the world can do it. I haven't heard of anyone else who can do it. But there are heavens beyond the heavens, and people beyond people. Lu's skills are really nothing special." The 2 of them needed to hurry back to the cave. The little leader asked as he walked, "Elder Lu, if one day I offend you, you wouldn't dismantle me like this, would you? Help me, boss. I can't joke like that. I wouldn't dare to dismantle the dragon bone, even if it scares me to death. This beautiful girl is actually a cat transformed. She was extremely favored by Emperor Tanti back in the day. Just now, the voice of Hue Sangu came from the forest. Most celestial beings cultivate for convenience and to collaborate with humans, mutually benefiting each other. The black old lady of Taishishan, the ancestors of Husan from Wulu Mountain, are all like this. There are also some races that focus on elevating themselves to a higher form without seeking help from others. For example, the reckless Zion family like General Ming. Most of them pursue the body of the Jaialong. I really don't know what you all are thinking. How could I have turned myself into clothing and accessories? Then what do you want to cultivate if you want to be someone's clothes? Just get taken directly to the fur farm. How should I put it about you five? Each one is exactly 50. The white fairy hedgehog asked. I don't know if you mean that each of us is suited for the 50 mysteries. How can you even ask that? What a shame. Is the immortal criticizing us for being foolish? May I ask what kind of path you are currently following? Shan Shan told them about the realm of the great immortal. Hearing this, Ding Shanshan mentioned to Mu Zaiyaxi that Hue Sangu's powers were formidable. It belongs to the emperor immortal level, which is quite powerful. I often secretly consumed the elixirs refined by the emperor. The Tianqi emperor even built her a small wooden hut. At the banquet, only Hue Sangu slowly descended from the tree, saying, Nanan. Every emperor wanted to rely on alchemy for immortality. In the end, they all poisoned themselves. Those methods of refining elixirs are indeed quite good. They just don't understand one thing. Those elixirs are not something the human body can withstand. Upon seeing the Hue Sangu, Mu Zaiyo and Ding Shanshan were stunned. So beautiful! Meanwhile, the 5 immortals were also praising. At that moment, the fox spirit said, Immortal, my cultivation is shallow, and I have been arrogant, which has led me to this situation. Please, esteemed immortal, show mercy and take us as your disciples. The other 4 immortals echoed in unison, Yes, yes. Please, immortal, accept us. This Maxian is not in a hurry. I need to evaluate you further before making a decision. The urgent task is to resolve your mindset among the 5 of you. Hearing this, Mu Zaiyo Zai agreed. They have lost their true form and their magical form as well. This way of picking is definitely not a solution. Aunt Hue, you are highly skilled. You must have a way, right? There is indeed a way. Old Lady Mu has already made it clear. But it's very dangerous. It all depends on whether you have the guts for it. Lean on. What else is there to be afraid of now that we've come this far? Immortal, please tell me what to do. Don't rush to decide. I haven't told you what you will be facing yet. I can help you solidify your soul and transform it into a true body, but I can't help you